Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. Thank you for being here. Notice is hereby given of a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the district to be held at 105 Fort Road, Port Isabel, Texas on March 23rd, 2022 at the hour of 5:30 p.m. for consideration of the business of the agenda below. This notice is posted at the office of the district on March 18th, 2022 at 1 p.m. in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551041, 551050, not less than 72 hours prior to the time of the said meeting. We do have the presence of a quorum. Notice of this meeting has been duly posted as requested by law. Present, we have myself, Mr. Friedman, Mr. Starkey, and Mr. Donahue. Absent, we have Dr. Lalonde and Mr. Bauder. If I may please have everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day you made for us, Lord. We just ask you to lead us and guide us, that we make the best decisions tonight, Lord. And we thank you for all your blessings. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Let's move along to item 3, invitation to the audience for public comments.
I've got one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's, Robert's already heard me about this, so. But, we've given out 2 notices for shutting water off. One during what was supposed to be Texas Week, which was the week before, and then this week, which was supposed to be the 22nd, we're gonna turn it off. I got this notice in my gate that afternoon, and I guess that evening or that afternoon, you decided not to do it. So a lot of people didn't get, because it happened so fast. And Robert, did you say a board member or something told you not to do it?
I'm sorry.
Did you say a board member said not to, or cancel it?
No. What I was referring was to, in the past, we've done some notices, and we've been asked not to do it, and
You said by the board, right?
yeah,
Okay,
there
well,
was a case
but this
where-
wasn't the case.
No, this was not the case.
Okay, well, the problem that I got is, like I said, before, we had people that didn't get it after you decided not to turn it off. They get their kids up early because they gotta get them ready at school, so they're getting them up early. People are getting up early for going to work. A dog groomer that I know, he canceled all his appointments that morning. And this is the second time we've done it. And that's crazy, man. That doesn't make us look good at all. And, and I don't know, why, are we set on 6 to 10 for some reason?
Yes.
On
And
6
what
to
was
10?
the
6
what's the
to 10,
reason?
yes.
What's the reason on 6 to 10?
It's a short change on some valves only. When the contractor gets to a certain point, it gives us the opportunity to go in there and change some of the valves
be
that
8 to
we
12?
needed to change. I'm sorry?
Could it be 8 to 12?
Well,
I mean,
we figured 6 to 10.
4-hour period, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah. We could do it 8 to 10, but
Or 8
we
to
were
12.
looking,
You know
8 to 12, excuse
Yeah.
me. But we were thinking about, at that point, there's a lot of businesses that are getting started up.
Well, you got it 2 ways. You got people that are getting their kids ready for school, and they gotta get up, and that's why they're so upset, because it's the second time we did it. And so they're getting up at 5 o'clock to get their kids to go to school. People have to go to work or getting up early because they don't want to go to work without a shower. And then we don't do this. So I don't know what we're gonna do in the past, but it's like crying wolf. They're not gonna believe us anymore.
Well, you got all of Laguna Boulevard is going to be
Yeah,
affected eventually.
Yeah.
Going down as they
yeah.
continue.
And I know we're doing it in sections, parts, but it's twice that one section got notices, and it's twice we canceled.
We've got about 5 to 6 months to complete this project, and there will be intervals, maybe once, twice a week, where we'll need to change out some valves, and we will need to cut out the water.
I don't have a
And-
problem with that. I understand that totally.
Yeah.
My deal is we can't keep giving out notices and then cancel it. People don't, they're getting mad, and
No.
I understand why.
And we
I
are
would look
trying
at your
to,
time, maybe if it's not 8, maybe it's 7 or something like that to 11, but, like I said, one
Yeah.
mother got on me because she was up so early to get her kids ready for school, and she had to go to work, and then.
Nothing happens. I understand. We have a new procedure that we're gonna follow through, sending the public notices like on a Monday, and the schedules are gonna be there, and we're gonna follow through those schedules.
Okay. That's all I got.
Okay, anyone else have anything to add, discuss, share? Okay, thank you. Let's move along to item 4, consider and discuss for possible approval of the minutes for the regular meeting from March 9th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Starkey, second by Mr. Donahue. Are all those in favor? They are.
Aye.
None opposed, motion
Aye.
carries. Thank you. Item 5, Director of Operations report. Report on the water line under the bridge issue and report on Ebony Street, Laguna Vista.
I just wanted to give you an update on what we're dealing with at the bridge. This particular water line break is what caused the water to be shut off right now. And this was the original water line break about a year ago, but it wasn't that bad, and we had the line open for quite a while. We were trying to figure out how we could get there because there really isn't any kind of support there, and we didn't know what kind of pipe it was. And so we were looking for a sloop truck. What we found was a 40-foot sloop truck, but it wouldn't get us there. It was like about 5 to 7, 8 feet short. And then we were looking to see maybe a platform with a barge and some man lift, but that would require at least 2 barges with 2 man lifts because we need 3 guys to go up there. And the area where they are working, or they will be working, is really nothing to hold on to, as I will show you in another picture that we have. So we're still, at this point, what we've got an estimate from a contractor to do a platform, something similar to the one that they have right now. And he's quoting us a $54,900. And that's the only thing that we've been able to find that would be safe enough, secure. But we figure we can lower that by $29,700. What's included in here, and according to what he told us, is because he's regulated by the EPA and OSHA. Well, OSHA more than anybody else. There's a charge here for a boat watch for $22,500 and a charge of $7,200 for a water survival person. And we've been talking to PI, fire department, or police department, excuse me, and we're seeing we can borrow their boat and get a man to be on alert for that day. It'll take us a day if we can get in there. We get the platform done for about $24,000 or so, then $25,000. We should be able to take care of that in a day. One of the other issues that we've been fighting, even with the other 2 repairs that we did, those 2 repairs were under where the platform is right now. But we were having a lot of issues in trying to get in there because the contractor was sandblasting, and they were painting, so we couldn't get under there because they were being covered. They all had masks and whatnot, and we just created a problem. We got there on the last day that they were allowed to be there, and then we had to deal with TxDOT to get a permit to go in there. And that's the issue we're having also right now with this particular water line break, is we need to get TxDOT's approval so that we can go in there and get this platform done. And it's gonna cost about $25,000.
Now, is that platform just stationary where you can't move it? Or is it on a barge or what is it?
No, it's gonna be attached, I really don't know, but it's gonna be attached to the bridge itself.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that we looked at that can get us up there. We figured if we used the man lift with the barges, can you bring up the other picture? That it's not going to be able to. This is one of the other repairs that they did. They did 2 repairs on that one end of where the platform is at. The other one? This one. As you can see, right there, they have beams. They're able to get in there, but it was pretty crowded, and there's 3 guys in there fixing that one repair. That that other repair, the one that's leaking right now, it's gonna be close to this, but there's nothing to hang on to. And if we get a man lift, up there, then the guys are gonna have to wear harness, then, there's nothing really to hold on to other than the man lift, so it's kinda tricky. And we feel more secure with the platform. I realize it's quite a bit, and as I mentioned earlier, the whole problem with this platform of 25,000 is that we don't even get to keep it. It's only for 1 day use or 2 days at the most.
Well, you gotta get it fixed.
Yeah, and does need to
Get it
get
done.
fixed. I'm sorry?
Get it done.
Yeah, it's gotta be fixed, but my other concern though is, you know, especially up in that high area where you're having trouble getting to is, we can't ever check, you know, next week it could be right down the road.
Well, there are two, there's one leak and there's another one that's about ready to bust. And that's why we want the platform. The dimensions on that is gonna be about 7 foot wide with 20 feet long. That should cover both.
So the proximity of the potential future leak and the current leak is enough to where that one platform, we can service them both? Does that sound correct? I want to jump in here for a minute because that's a lot of information. And I agree with Scott. I mean, this all needs to be approved, and you can't put a price on safety.
That's right.
Or the person's life that's going to be up there. You mentioned OSHA and the boat watch and the divers, what I would assume, because what we're preparing for is the event of some tragedy occurring, somebody falling, the platform collapses, they're in the water, they need to be rescued immediately. We don't have time to call. So, yeah, I'm 100% in favor in saving money, but I'm even more so in favor of making sure that we have the, you know, proper resources there in the event of said, you know, occurrence. With the platform, is there a place that we can buckle into? Like I would like to. I mean, I don't see anyone kind of snapped in right there, and that
No,
concerns
the platform itself is just,
I mean, I know you're standing on it, you can roam, you can work, but there's still got to be a way to put a carabiner and a rope on something and get attached and now operate and work. You know, does everybody kind of understand what I'm saying here?
in this particular platform there was. They had steel cables under the platform attached to those steel beams. So if
I'm
we
sure
were
it's
able to
windy
work.
under there. I mean, there's a lot of issues you're going to run into. I wouldn't want to be the one standing on the platform.
Right, well, that's the other problem we're not completely clear with is that there aren't any beams or anything to hold on to where the leak is right now. And that's one of our concerns is how are they gonna get that platform? So what I'm envisioning is that they're going to tie it from one end of the bridge to the other.
It'll be a surge,
Right.
I'm sure, that's going to hook onto the existing bridge, and you're going to crawl down and get under that thing.
That's right.
And work, but there should be some sort of cable system that I can clip
Yes.
onto that's going to allow me, you know, the luxury of tripping and falling and being okay.
That's correct.
Not in and out
That's
of the
what.
water.
One thing,
Yes, sir. This is a sketch that we got from the contractor that is building that platform.
and again, I will make sure that they are harnessed, and we have Felipe as a safety officer.
Yes. Oh, no,
Was he does.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah, and so it looks like there'll be a cable system of some sort arranged. I would just encourage us to utilize that and strap into. It looks like there'll be a nice cage that we can climb down in, be protected, a catwalk to get us under the structure to access the leaks. It's a shame that we can't keep this platform and use it again.
Yeah.
It'd be great if we learn from this experience and see if there's anything that can be done to access underneath the bridge in our mind. And I should have led with thank you for bringing this up today. We should always know about anything wrong with the bridge. You know, about what kind of opportunity to know, appreciate the lengths that we go to behind the scenes to make sure both legs are operational and when they're not, we're doing everything in our power to get it operational. So obviously, needed, you know, ductile line.
There was mention of this particular leak back in July 28th board meeting. But at that time, it was a small leak. It didn't really have significance to it as it does now. It didn't cost us to close the water, so we were still operational. And although it's been quite a while, but we've been looking because the pipes that are connected where that leak is happening is a yellow line and an AC. And so we were trying to get the dimensions on the outside dimensions on both pipes. The problem is that we had no way to get up there. The only thing that we were able to use was the drone, and the drone was just from an angle, because some drones you can take a snapshot facing up, but the one we have is just at an angle, so we weren't able to utilize it as much as we wanted to for that reason.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, that pipe, how long was that pipe? A long time.
That was,
It's, since 2001, when they had that incident,
yeah.
that new line is, sunlight protected, UV protected. That's a new line since 2001, but the connection to it is, asbestos cement to that yellow mine. And, there's two different sizes in there where they have to go. Joel already knows the dimensions on it already, so we shouldn't have a hard time making the connections, the new, I guess, piping to it, the new straps that go on it. We should be able to do everything, have it set up. And I will make sure that our safety officer here is gonna be in charge of the harnesses. If we have a harness and a wire, we need to request that from the contractor, and we'll take care of it.
And then
We
moving
have to.
forward, it's hard to believe it's not a catwalk that currently exists, and we can access, our utility and services. So with that in mind, please think outside the box of how we can do this more cost effectively in the future. I'm not asking us to go buy a barge, but there's got to be a means to this end, because I'm sure this won't be the last time we will need to get under this.
That's correct.
And if it's a $25,000 hit every time, then it may behoove us to look into something more permanent. Even if it is a significant amount of money, it's something we should consider. Because that's a huge customer on the other side of that bridge.
yes, sir.
That's negatively impacted in a major way when this utility goes down.
The only other issue with all of that is getting TxDOT approval.
What's that lead time look like? What kind of tape we gotta go through for that to happen?
Well,
Maybe
right
that's a
now, we've
question
got
for April, I don't know.
we have a permit request to be able to get that platform built. And it'll take them about, they said it would take about 4 to 5 days to get that platform. To get that, no, to get that platform built.
Did you need a
We're,
permit for
we're
building?
hoping, yes, sir. We're hoping that within the next week or so, we can do this, maybe the first week in April. We're trying to get this done as soon as
Understand.
possible.
Do you have an idea of how long it's gonna take to get permits at this point?
No.
Joe, no.
Well,
It can take anywhere from a week, 2 weeks,
Okay.
3 weeks, depends. But what we've done with TxDOT in the past is when we're in a situation, I'll call them up and tell them, hey, we're submitted the TxDOT permit, can we proceed? And I say, yes, go ahead, proceed. And let the TxDOT permit work its process. You know, and TxDOT's been real good with it.
What I plan to do is go ahead and on an emergency basis, get that word to the contractor to get it done. We'll come back to the board and make sure that we ratify that and approve the contract to go through.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's,
But-
yes, sir.
You're talking more about 24,000, but everything's done. You said the same 29,000.
Oh.
Are they gonna do that?
Yes, yeah, we have the city fire department with the police department that has that equipment, the boat and the man.
The boat.
Those guys are trained for that, so we'll utilize them. If they charge us, fine. I don't think it'll be that much. Maybe they'll just let us do it for free.
Medical
That's what
professionals
we'll
will be
do.
on site when we're operating. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
The other item that I wanted to bring up to the board was
I'm sorry, before we continue, I want to reiterate.
Yes, sir.
Let's look at a long-term access.
Oh, we
plan
talked about that.
So that we can
Yes.
access any part of that line. I don't know what that's gonna look like. I'll let you guys figure that out and see if there's give us some options of how we can access all that.
And we've had barges before with man lifts.
Mhm.
Maybe we need a couple of them because the equipment that we have is kind of heavy. The piping is heavy, so we'll look into that one and make sure that the police department, fire department are all the time ready for us to help assist us on that part.
Yes,
So-
outside the box brainstorm, bring a plan, let's look at it. Go from
The other issue on this is, that I wanted to emphasize is the height. That it's almost towards the very top.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it ain't me.
Yeah.
Hard enough time driving over that.
What is that
I don't
height?
get nothing.
You need the height.
Estimated about 70 feet.
You need your height to hold up the pipe.
No,
Politely decline.
the other item that I wanted to bring up was the repair we just did on Ebony Street. Ebony Street, as you may recall, caved in back in November, and we had it repaired. In February, we went out there, we got a call that the ring around the manhole was starting to break, so they went to check it out. They opened up the manhole and it was starting to leak. So what we did is we knew it wouldn't be long before it started to collapse again, so we just went in there. We called G&T to see how much they would charge us. They gave us a quote for $15,000 if they just took out the manhole and connected the pipe. And this is about 11 feet down in the ground. And $22,000 if they replaced the manhole and repaired the line, the sewer line. So after that, I talked to Robert Gonzalez, the owner of G&T, and told him that we were going to go ahead and do that. Since they had just repaired that, the problem with that is that there's a lot of water down there. The water table is kind of high in that area. We went back and forth on the warranty, and he said, well, you know, this was caused by water. There's not much we can do about that. And so I didn't want to argue with him because he's one of the contractors. Well, we did argue with him for a while, but he is one of the contractors that we depend on to resurface all the cuts that we do on the streets. And he is about the only contractor that will do that. We tried contacting other contractors and paving contractors, and
So I get it. Dumb question. Do we have any insurance policy that would be applicable in this situation when the warranty of the product doesn't kick in? It's like, for lack of a better example, flood insurance, you know, like wind doesn't cover what flood does or anything like that.
the deductible would be, it's extremely high for something like this. They wouldn't cover it. Anyway, once I talked to him and told him that we would do it, he offered his equipment. He offered the trench box, because we were looking at getting a trench box, and even renting a backhoe that would excavate down 12, 13 feet, because we needed to get below the pipe. And so he offered his backhoe with a operator.
It's an excavator.
I'm sorry, excavator. And after that, he said, when you all finish, let us know and we'll pave it for free. He said, I'm not gonna charge you. So I
Did
told
we
him,
do the work in November? I can't remember. Did we
No.
just say when we did the work? He did the work.
he did the work in November.
So we'll do it better.
So the actual cost to this, besides the man hours, of course, collection and construction department being out there, the materials were $1,133.
There you go.
So we managed to save quite a bit.
Thank you.
Yes.
I gotta bring up old business.
That's the extent of my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6, discuss and approve a resolution authorizing the issuance of a Lmwd water system running tax block series 2022, levying an ad valorem tax in support of the bond, authorizing the execution of a paying agent register agreement, purchase contract approaching an official stage, authorizing matters related to the issuance of the bonds and providing for an immediate effective
Good evening, Chairman, Freeman, Bobby Villarreal with Estrada Hinojosa. Just want to report on the pricing that occurred yesterday. Yes, you have the document in front of you. You have the refunding and the new money. So I would say go to slide 1, and you'll see in the top right corner, you see the ratings of Moody's AA2 and S&P AA minus, which is an upgrade. A lot of congratulations to you guys on that, your staff, Eddie, Carlos, Charles, Robert had, they participated in some rating calls and a due diligence call. They handled themselves very well. They presented the district very well. Very nicely that Moody's affirmed your rating, and actually S&P upgraded it 1 notch. So that's good for you guys. Again, part of the process of the rating is your finances. How much are you operating within your means? Do you have a reserve? The board itself, is it stable? Does it make good policy decisions? All those things went very well. Things that are not in your control, the per capita income, that sort of thing is always something that just hurts the whole South Texas region. But again, the things that are within your control, you're doing really well at. So that's what they saw, and we saw 1 notch on one of them. So good for you guys on that. So having said that, if we go to the next page, I'll just get into the meat of it. This is the refunding results. These are the 2012 bonds that were callable. You achieved, they refunded about $8.3 million, and you had a true interest cost on these new bonds of 2.439%, which is a net present value savings of $511,673. The percentage savings of these bonds was 5.5%. The industry average, or what they recommend as an industry, is anything above 3%. It's a good idea to refund. That means, had you not done this yesterday, you would have paid 5.5% more than you should have. And again, on an average annual savings for the next about 11 years, 12 years, you're going to pay less, $53,148 less than you would have had you not done the refunding. Yes, sir, per year, average every year. So you'll see the blue column in there. That's the annual savings. You see some red in the back end. That was for structuring issues, but overall, it's a savings. That's the refunding. And if we go forward to the new money, this is the new money, the bond election that was passed. Again, you had a $26.3 million par amount and a project fund of $27.6 million. And again, the true interest cost was 3.6% interest. It's pretty historically low, although we would tell you that the geopolitical things that are going on in the world right now are very, the market's in a lot of flux right now. So having said that, I think yesterday was a tough day, but you all made it out pretty well with 3.6. You did meet all the parameters that you wanted to meet, things that you went to the voters with. And I'll highlight it there. If you look at the bottom right in green, the maximum tax rate increase from the 2020 rate will be about 0.04407. That's about 4.4 pennies, right? And so I think when you went to the voters, you were quoting more like 4.434, so you're right under that. And again, this right here is projecting no taxable value increase for the district. If you notice, the AV growth has zeros all the way throughout. So I think that's fairly conservative in the sense that I think most of us believe that you're going to go up in value. If you look at from the right to the left in the yellow required 9S right there where it says 3.82 pennies, you're going to go up to 8.27, and that'll maintain, again, with no growth, assuming there's no growth, all the way to 2032, and then it drops back down to the 4 penny range. So that's just the kind of the bump there. And
growth offsets
yeah,
that projected.
Yeah, and one other thing to note too, we have a collection rate of 95% there. And I believe the reality is that you're collecting closer to 98, 99, 100. So
it's a conservative.
Yeah, yeah. So again, if that number goes up,
absolutely,
that number is inverse, right? So again, you met the parameters that you wanted to meet, And I think it's a good story to tell your constituents, and you can, I guess you can put the money to work and do the improvements you need to do.
I don't know if you want to take this up and sing the praises.
I would like to compliment the Friday Nicholas, knowing your diligence in helping us get this done. It was very, very touch and go yesterday, whether it was going to get done or not get done. And Noe and your team definitely went to work with the water district and gave all they had.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You're humble in your presentation today. I want to reiterate my board members' comments in the sense that everything that has occurred in this world since the day the bond was voted to approve, the numbers that you projected and we came in under as a result of your due diligence, your conservative, accounting approach. I want to reiterate what an incredible job it was to predict the unpredictable.
Well,
Considering everything that's happened,
Yes.
to still deliver in this way to our taxpayers, I think that should give them, it gives me great confidence for any potential future bonds for this district. With you guys at the helm, we got a chance to deliver on a promise, even despite pandemic and conflict and all kinds of things. So great job.
Well, thank you. And I think one thing also I just want to point out, the refunding was done at the same time as the new money in an effort to provide flexibility to meet those parameters, also to have some cost of issuance savings that you didn't do one and pay for it over here and a little later. So
I get it.
have it at the same time, give you some flexibility, and meet what we needed to meet. And again, a lot of kudos goes back to your staff here. I mean, what the rating agencies and the bond investors look at is the financial product that Eddie and the crew are preparing. And it's a perspective. It's just sort of like when we buy a mutual fund, you look at the perspective of what they invest in. They're looking at you guys as an investment. And they want to make sure you're going to pay it back. And if they're comfortable with you, they're probably going to give you as low a rate as they can.
And I would like to reiterate that as well. Our financial reputation is outstanding as a result of all the due diligence that's done in this district by the personnel that show up every single day in that department. So kudos, congratulations, thank you. And this is all good. That's all I really have to say about that.
Yeah, I think they just need action to.
Yes.
I motion it. Congratulations, everyone. Great job.
Let's move along to item 7, consider and discuss possible approval of change order number 1 for Lmwd elevated storage tank.
So the contractor has mobilized to the elevator storage tank. We're able to get more of a hands-on look and basically determine there's some additional repairs that are needed that were identified after they were already on site. One being the overflow pipe needing repair, and they also gave us a quote to do the climb prevention gate repair. And then there's additional wing rods. That was an alternate item, but since there were 15 that were needed on top of the quantity in the base bid, they just provided us a lump sum versus the unit price on the bid form would have made it a lot more expensive. So we're recommending approval for an increase of $9,000 to take care of the additional repairs.
Second by Mr. Donahue, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Item 8, consider and review expenditures for March 1st, 2022 through March 15th, 2022. So everyone to acknowledge by Mr. Friedman, Mr. Sargent, and Mr. Donahue. Any questions, any comments, or concerns? No. Item 9, executive session removed by the open meeting executive session of the government code section 551.001. Ed sequence under section 551071 S consultation with attorneys under section 55S 550172 deliberations about real property, discuss listing water lines and possibility of purchase utility easement of the proposed sunset breeze in the subdivision. Need a motion to go into executive session.
I would like to recommend that the board table this one. The developer did not provide sufficient information to move with it.
So we're going to take a motion to table this item.
Motion table.
Made by Mr. Sarkis, second by Mr. Donahue. We're all any opposed? None. Motion carries. Item is tabled. And please consider and action on executive session items if necessary. No action items taken. Item 11, meeting is adjourned at 6.